I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. It's dark as hell. If you can look behind me, it is dark. It is nighttime, and I just like torturing myself. So, yeah, pretty much that's pretty much what I like doing. So this one, as you already know, the place I go for my analog horror, Rag Signal Archive. Um, yeah, lock your doors. Is if your dog start barking at night, lock your doors. I feel like your door should be already locked, but let me check mine. My door is locked, so we good. Alright, so get your popcorn. This not a long one. This probably a little short one, but like I said, we're gonna keep going until we get something that really messed me up. The last one really messed me up with the dog, the other dog. Why is it always dogs? You leave the dogs alone. God damn it. Let's get this started. Headphones.
This message is issued by the Emergency Coordination Center. Please listen closely and follow the instructions that follow. This is not a drill. If your dog has been exhibiting unusual nighttime barking behavior, particularly in wooded or rural areas, you need to take immediate action. Over the past 3 weeks, we have received dozens of reports from residents living in forested regions across the county describing a disturbing pattern of animal behavior. What began as routine calls about noise complaints has evolved into something far more serious. The reports share common elements that have prompted this emergency advisory. It started on the evening of June 8th when dispatch received the first call from a resident on Timber Ridge Road. The caller, a retired carpenter named Marcus Chen, reported that his German Shepherd had been barking incessantly every night at exactly 11:47 p.m.
Why?
Marcus had owned the dog, Rex, for 6 years and described their bond as extraordinary. Rex slept at the foot of his bed, accompanied him on morning walks, and had never shown signs of anxiety or unusual behavior.
Okay.
But something had changed. For 14 consecutive nights, Rex would position himself at the back door and bark toward the tree line behind their cabin. Marcus said the barking
The first second, actually the first night, I'll be like, okay, he's barking a little bit too much. The second night, same time barking. The third night, we going to see some vet. We are going 14. You got me.
wasn't aggressive or territorial like when strangers approached. It was different, protective, almost pleading. Rex would look back at Marcus between barks, as if trying to communicate something urgent.
Don't you
When
see
Marcus
this?
would join him at the door and shine a flashlight into the woods, he saw nothing. Just pine trees swaying in the darkness.
Okay.
But Rex would continue barking until Marcus physically led him away from the door. Similar reports flooded our lines throughout that week. A widow in Pine Hollow described her golden retriever pacing the perimeter of her property each night, whimpering and scratching at the doors. The dog would only calm down when she brought him inside and closed all the curtains.
Gotcha.
A young couple near Maple Creek reported their normally quiet beagle howling mournfully toward the forest, behavior that began the same night as Marcus's experience on Timber Ridge.
Oh, so
The pattern
all
was
happened
consistent across all reports.
Oh, so it all happened-
Dogs
all
with
the
previously
dogs
normal
happened at the same
behavior suddenly becoming hyper-alert during specific nighttime hours. All the affected properties bordered dense woodland.
Nope.
All the dogs focused their attention on the tree line, not the road or neighboring homes. And in every case, the owners described their pets as trying to position themselves between their family and whatever they sensed in the darkness. On
The
June
dog's trying to protect you,
22nd,
bitch.
something changed.
What?
Marcus called dispatch at 2:17 a.m., his voice shaking. He said
saw
Rex
something?
had been barking as usual when they both heard it. A sound from the woods. Not an animal sound, Marcus insisted, but something else. A low, rhythmic tapping, like someone knocking on wood with their knuckles. Rex's barking became frantic, almost hysterical.
Oh, damn.
Then, abruptly, the dog fell silent. Marcus heard a single, soft whimper, and then nothing.
Oh, God.
When he looked outside, Rex was sitting perfectly still, staring
Is that
into the
dog?
trees.
Oh, okay, I was about to
The
say.
dog's ears were flattened against his head, and Marcus said he'd never seen Rex look so afraid.
Something
The tapping
creepy,
sound
bro.
had stopped, but Marcus felt like something was watching them from the darkness.
Yeah.
He stayed awake until dawn, with Rex pressed against his leg.
Y'all know dogs see stuff that we don't see. They sense stuff that we don't sense. Cause we humans, to be honest, without our weapons and stuff, we useless. I ain't gonna lie. Without our weapons, without anything else, we go in the woods. We getting footed by mostly everything. Like mostly everything. Like our sense of everything sucks. It sucks being a human sometimes.
Both of them listening to the silence. The next night, Rex didn't bark at all. For the first time in over 2 weeks, 11:47 p.m. came and went without incident.
Gotcha.
Marcus felt relieved, thinking whatever had been disturbing his dog had finally moved on.
Gotcha.
But his relief was short-lived. 3 days later, Marcus called us again. This time, Rex was barking inside the cabin. Not at the door or windows, but at the walls themselves.
Oh.
The dog would stand in the center of the living room and bark at the wooden walls, moving from spot to spot as if tracking something moving around the perimeter of the house. Marcus said it felt like something was circling his home, staying just out of sight but close enough that Rex could sense its presence. Other residents reported similar changes in their dog's behavior. The nighttime barking had stopped, but now their pets were agitated during daylight hours, refusing to go outside and cowering when their owners approached windows. Several people mentioned feeling watched while doing routine outdoor activities like checking the mail or bringing in groceries.
Oh, damn.
On June 28th, Marcus had his encounter.
Okay.
He was splitting wood behind his cabin around 3 p.m. when Rex began barking from inside the house.
Yeah.
Through the window, Marcus could see his dog pawing frantically at the back door. That's when he noticed the shadow. At the edge of the tree line stood a figure unlike anything Marcus had ever seen. Impossibly tall, maybe 8 or 9 feet, with limbs that seemed too long.
That is not no 8 or 9 fucking feet. That's like 14 or 20 feet tall. That is not 8 or 9 feet. Nah.
For its frame. The figure was perfectly still, just watching him. Marcus described feeling an overwhelming sense of wrongness, as if his mind couldn't fully process what he was looking at. The figure's proportions were human, but stretched, distorted in a way that made Marcus's vision blur when he tried to focus on details.
Oh, hell yeah.
Marcus dropped his axe and backed toward the house, never taking his eyes off the figure. He said the thing's head tracked his movement with an unnatural smoothness,
Gotcha.
like it was floating rather than attached to a neck.
Oh, hell
When
no.
Marcus reached for the door handle, he heard Rex barking turn to whimpering. The dog was pressed against the inside of the door, trembling. As Marcus fumbled with the lock, he heard footsteps. Not the crack of twigs or rustle of leaves you'd expect from someone walking through the forest, but a soft, deliberate padding, like bare feet on moss.
Oh,
The
God.
sound was getting closer. Marcus finally got the door open and stumbled inside, immediately deadbolting it behind him.
I would.
When he looked out the window, the figure was gone. That evening, Marcus discovered that Rex was different. The dog no longer came when called. He wouldn't eat his regular food and refused to sleep in the bedroom.
No, come
Instead,
on now.
Rex positioned himself by the front door and stayed there, alert and motionless. When Marcus tried to pet him, Rex flinched away. It was as if something had been taken from the dog, some essential part of his personality erased. Marcus isn't the only one who's encountered this figure. Local authorities have received 17 similar reports over the past month, all describing the same impossibly tall presence lurking at the edges of wooded properties. Some witnesses describe it as native to the area, something that's always been in these forests.
No, it hasn't.
Others tell more disturbing stories. A hunting party from the reservation 20 miles north reported seeing tracks near their camp 3 years ago.
Oh, shit.
Footprints that were human-shaped but nearly 2 feet long, pressed deep into the mud as if made by something incredibly heavy.
Got you.
The tribal elders they consulted spoke of old warnings about things that walk between the trees, entities that take pieces of what they encounter. They said dogs could sense these beings long before humans ever could,
That's what
and
I
that a
said.
dog's protection should never be ignored. We've also received reports of missing items from properties where encounters have occurred.
Gotcha.
Not valuable objects, but personal things. A child's favorite toy. A wedding ring left on a nightstand. A photograph from a mantelpiece. The items disappear without any sign of forced entry, as if they simply vanish from existence. Witnesses describe these disappearances happening in the days following their encounters with the tall figure. What concerns us most is the pattern we're seeing in the affected animals. Dogs that once provided comfort and companionship to their families are becoming withdrawn and fearful.
Oh.
Some refuse to enter certain rooms of their homes. Others won't go outside at all, even during daylight hours.
Oh, shit.
Veterinary examinations reveal no physical ailments, but the behavioral changes appear to be permanent. Based on our investigation, we've identified 3 distinct stages in these encounters. Stage 1 is recognition. Your dog begins exhibiting protective behavior, typically during late evening hours. The animal focuses on wooded areas and appears to be tracking something you cannot see. This stage can last for days or weeks, with the behavior occurring at consistent times. Stage 2 is contact. Something acknowledges your dog's awareness. You may hear unusual sounds from the forest, experience electronic interference with phones or radios, or notice changes in your pet's behavior patterns. The dog's protective instincts intensify, and they may attempt to prevent you from going outside or approaching windows.
Gotcha.
Stage 3 is aftermath. Following direct visual contact with the entity, both you and your pet are permanently changed.
Oh,
Dogs lose aspects of their personality and become withdrawn from their families.
Oh, shit.
Witnesses report ongoing feelings of being observed and experience the disappearance of personal items from their homes. If you are currently experiencing Stage 1 behavior from your dog, take these precautions immediately.
Yeah.
Do not ignore your pet's warnings.
Gotcha.
When your dog exhibits protective behavior toward wooded areas, bring them inside and secure all entry points to your home. Close curtains and blinds to prevent outside observation. Do not attempt to investigate what your dog is alerting you to, especially during nighttime hours.
Gotcha.
If you hear unusual sounds from the forest, such as rhythmic tapping or unnatural movement, do not investigate.
Oh, hell no.
These sounds appear to be attempts at communication or luring behavior. Remain indoors with your pet until daylight. Several witnesses who investigated these sounds reported immediate escalation to Stage 2 encounters. Never leave your dog outside overnight if they are exhibiting these warning behaviors.
Oh, that's...
The animal's protective instincts are specifically focused on keeping your family safe, and separating them from you during these episodes appears to intensify the entity's interest in your property. If you have reached Stage 2 and are experiencing daylight intrusions or direct sightings, contact law enforcement immediately. Do not attempt to approach or communicate with the entity. Witnesses who have tried to interact with the figure report severe psychological aftereffects and accelerated progression to Stage 3 conditions. We want to emphasize that this phenomenon appears to be spreading throughout our county's forested regions. What began as isolated incidents in remote areas is now being reported in suburban neighborhoods that border woodland. The entity shows particular interest in properties where families have strong bonds with their pets, suggesting it may be drawn to emotional connections between humans and animals.
Why?
Multiple search teams have attempted to track this entity through the forests, but these efforts have been unsuccessful.
Oh, that's fucked up.
The being appears to move through terrain without leaving consistent tracks and seems capable of avoiding detection by conventional means.
Oh, God, no.
However, it cannot hide from the natural instincts of domestic animals, which is why your dog's warnings are crucial to your family's safety. 3 families have already experienced the full progression of these encounters, and all report permanent changes to their lives.
Yeah,
The dogs involved no longer provide the same companionship and protection they once offered their families. More concerning, each family has lost personal items that held significant emotional value, objects that cannot be replaced and whose absence creates ongoing distress. We are working with tribal consultants and wildlife experts to better understand this phenomenon, but our primary concern is preventing additional encounters.
Yeah, that's
The pattern suggests that early intervention during stage 1 can break the cycle of escalation.
Oh.
Your dog's protective behavior is not random anxiety or territorial display. It is a warning system that has evolved over thousands of years of domestication, and it should be trusted absolutely.
Okay.
This broadcast will repeat
Oh,
every
such a
4
thing.
hours until further notice.
Yep.
Emergency services are coordinating response efforts, but the remote nature of affected areas means response times may be extended. Your best protection is immediate compliance with these safety guidelines and complete trust in your pet's instincts. Remember, if your dog is barking at the woods at night, something is watching you from the darkness.
Oh, hell no.
The silence that follows isn't peace, it's patience. And when that silence ends, it may already be too late to protect what the entity has come to take.
Oh, hell no. Hell motherfucking no. Oh my god. That one wasn't too scary. That one I can actually deal with. That wasn't too scary. I was listening to everything. This entity fuck. This entity fucking sucks though. Y'all leave the dogs alone. God damn it. I'll see y'all in the next video.